I'd much rather be edifying and effective than be controversial. I understand that one gets views, one gets comments, and one just may leave you obscure and on the outskirts. But if you really, as you say you are, only one should be an option. Somebody offers you as an authentic entity the opportunity to be fake and perform. It's a no-brainer. You turn it down. You only think about it when you're in the compromising state, when you've gotten desperate. And that's two things that authentically real people don't get. Understand, I'm not afraid of you. I'm very indifferent to your opinions, not because I think I'm smarter than you, but because I'm very indifferent to my opinions. Your opinions are even less important to me, because at least my irrelevant opinions belong to me. Your irrelevant opinions belong to you, and they should hold some type of weight or value for you, not necessarily for me. Educated is one thing. Knowledgeable is one thing. Enlightened is one thing. But opinionated, come on, man. We can all pull that off. And there's no study needed. You've been assuming your whole life. You've been living based off of your uncalculated hypothesis your whole life. And the people you call your friends are the people who partner their fears with yours or submit their freedom to your fears. The people that challenge you, the people who question you. Students, keep those people close, because they lead them to challenging and questioning their biases and their beliefs and their considered knowledge bases. But the insecure push these type of people away. The insecure don't want to be questioned, because then they have to have an answer. And we have answers. They just don't make no sense. I am not on the internet for you to teach me how to compromise. I am not on the internet for you to teach me how to think. I'm not on the internet to teach you how to think. And I'm definitely not on the internet to teach you how to compromise. For one, we've been so well trained and well versed in compromise that none of us need help doing such. If I wanted to compromise, I do not need your help, your assistance, or your guidance in doing so. And neither do you need mine. Because we compromise as a secondary nature because we forgot our first nature. We compromise because that's the route that was taught to us in our mother's homes, in our grandmother's homes, and adopted as the best way and the only way to progress in the physical plane. Don't get it twisted. We're more alike than we ever will care to admit. We have divided this world into so many fragments and so many pieces. We've divided it by color. We've divided it by stature. We've divided it by economics. We've divided it by geographic location. We've divided it in so many ways that are just fictitious, but ways that we submit to because it makes sense to us logically. End of the day, whoever I'm around shouldn't be based on the color of their skin. It shouldn't be based on the contents of their bank account or their pockets. It shouldn't be based on the benefit or value for me. I should be extending myself, again, love, freely to all who I find myself around, and I should be engaging with them in a way that is edifying for the both of us. We should be feeding each other. We should be dining together. We should be supping. But if we were honest, most of the people that we say what's up to, we never eat with. Some of them we eat off of, and some of them eat off of us. But how many of the partnerships in our life today are spiritually balanced and physically intact because they're based on the reciprocity of us dining together, eating together, benefiting, reaping the values of the connection that we have collectively? Or have you been partnering with people for other reasons? Have you been partnering with people because they give you a sense of belonging? They give you a sense of value where you don't really have the awareness or consciousness of the value within yourself, the infinite value, I might add, within yourself. I mean, the great I am is within you. Whatever you proclaim will harden into a fact in the physical realm. You are a God. And you needed somebody to tell you that you looked nice today. You needed somebody to tell you that it would be okay, that you should keep going. What is the alternative for not keeping going? It's laying down and quitting, and that means that your situation will never change. It'll actually get worse. So the only motivation you should need shouldn't be external. It should be the hard fact, the objective fact that if you do not persist and move forward in what it is that you are aiming to do, you will suffer the consequences of never arriving at said destination. Shouldn't take no more motivation than that. If it do, you don't really want to get there. If it do, you're doing it for other reasons other than the reason that you've told yourself and told others. Ain't no way in hell you're conscious of your purpose and it takes another person to keep you pushing. That's not how purpose works. Purpose picks you up when you don't feel like going anymore. Purpose drives you and gives you vitality when you feel that you've reached your end. That's how purpose works. Purpose has provision within it. If you set yourself on your purpose, everything that you need to fulfill the purpose that you have set yourself to is within the purpose that you have accepted for yourself. I know that the same people who told you that you had entered a realm that was beyond the scope of and control of time, and then they doubled back and told you after you pray you had to wait. You can ask for whatever you want, and God will give it to you if it's in His will. And you just gotta wait and see, because things take time. Even in the spiritual realm, where I'm supposedly talking to a deity that operates beyond the scope of time. So I'm asking my Father who is beyond time. I myself am an expression of the same image and likeness beyond time, inside of a temporary vessel on the physical plane. And whatever I ask from within the physical body on the physical plane of my spiritual Father that is beyond time, takes time to develop. This don't make no sense. But it's what we were sold. It's what we were told. It's what we have adopted, and it's what we have projected. Not even only onto our own experience, but it's what we tell our children and what we tell other people's kids. My aim with every child that I cross paths with is to introduce them to an awareness of their identity, to foster within them a confidence of themselves where they know who they are, where they come from, and what it is they are here to do. That's what I enjoy. Sometimes I do it through sports. Sometimes I do it through teaching in classroom settings, whatever. And I raise my own kids. And oftentimes I've learned to look back at the things that I say to children to find the correction for myself. See, I know you say you're grown, but I just want to ask you one question. In the course of you growing up, right? Not just words, growing. Take me back to the time in your childhood that you were not physically developing, because, I mean, that's natural. All you got to do is wake up and lay down. Take me back to the time that you were growing. Take me back to the time that you were receiving correction and applying it directly to your experience. Take me back to the time that you were looking for errors within yourself. Take me back to the time that you were finding fault with yourself and not with others. Take me back to the time that you were allowing someone of knowledge and light to guide you into a way that you were not familiar with and were not comfortable with and did not want to submit to. Take me back to that time in your childhood. It doesn't exist in mine. So I did not grow up in the 18 years that I lived in my mother's house. So as an adult, I, like you, am left to raise myself. See, we say that we were raised by our parents, but your parents can't raise you. You have to raise yourself. You have been laying dormant on the inside of your physical anatomy. Your mother and your father have been caring for you, and if we were honest, because of our dysfunctional past in our mother's house and our father's house, or whoever you grew up with, granny, auntie, whoever took care of your flesh, whoever took your requests and made it physical, whoever's heard you say you want a McDonald's and then eventually drove you over there, this person instilled in you a dysfunction that may still run rampant in you, whether you are 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. I definitely know some elders who have never been raised, but they have always been cared for. And that has fostered this mentality in them of entitlement. They look really, really selfish, really, really self-absorbed, really, really closed-minded. You can't correct them. You can't point out none of their errors. And they now have become the very people who stand and sit in elevated places and point and speak at the dysfunction that others carry. And this is why the ears of the sons have been turned away from the mouths of the fathers. Because you want to correct something that you have never exemplified the very code that you are promoting. You want to correct somebody that you have no connection with. And I promise you, nobody cares what you know until they know how much you care. I promise you, a lot of people are out here just trying to pass off as intellectual and smart. They don't care nothing about you. They don't care nothing about your development. They don't care nothing about you actually grasping the concepts. They want the views. They want the comments. They want the likes. They want to monetize. They want to get paid. They want to flip that into a business. They want to get into real estate. They want to come back and stun on you on the same network that they said they cared about you on, and they want to make that as big as they can. Understand, most of these people are playing. We were raised by capitalists. We are constantly in search of capital because we were raised by capitalists. They have all of the capital, and they leave us to manipulate each other and run little micro expressions of their play on each other. Now you out here taking advantage of your friends, or the people that you said was your friends. But you're so desperate, and you're so compromised, and you're so in competition with the people around you that you can't have no connection with them. You can't have no rapport with them. You can't have no honesty, no transparency with them. You actually deceive them, manipulate them, lead them astray just to get them out of your way. Listen, people are not fundamentally flawed. We're not ethically lost. People are desperate, flat, and compromised. They don't know the truth. They're ignorant to the fact that they can turn this around in a moment. So, if all of the ways that we have divided this experience and the entities within it are illusional and have been causing us to be dysfunctional because of all of the labels and all of the names that we project onto people and all of the subgroups that we fit ourselves and other people in, then how is it that it should be explained. There is a collective. There is a collective. All are included within the collective. And the collective can only be divided one way: by awareness, not by color, by awareness, not by money, by awareness, not by political party, by awareness. Are you still playing the game, or are you awake? Are you conscious and clear, or are you foggy and asleep? Are you dreaming, or have you identified real life? Have you applied radically, or have you went within yourself and did that thing that you've been doing since you were a kid, where you convince yourself based on the conveniences that you are willing to look at? I got a ton of areas I have not applied, but in the areas that I am willing to give my attention, I see that yes, I made changes here. Yes, I made changes here. Yes, I made changes here, even though they've equated to nothing. Now that it's broken down into two groups, the collective is broken down into those who know and those who do not. How do those who know deal with those who do not? They plant the seed of awareness. They plant the seed of knowledge. One comes behind and waters it. Someone else reaps the harvest. I do not force and fight you to let go of your illusions. I do not force and fight with you to let go of your beliefs and your superstitions. I plant a seed. If you put me out your house, I dust my feet off and I keep it pushing. And I understand that my voice was to be buried within you, and there was someone else that would come behind me and they would water that, and there's somebody else that'll come behind that, and this process will go as long as you need it to, until you have been shaken awake from within. But when you are awake, it won't be because of anyone's shakings but your own. All of these seeds erupting and building roots on the inside of yourself will cause an earthquake. And you're going to get scared. But that's when you're going to learn that fear is not to be defeated. It's not to be abandoned. Fear is to be controlled. It's natural. It comes with every new experience. And if you haven't been dealing with fear, if you haven't had to control your fear, if you haven't had to use the truth to set you free from the fear that you remember, you probably have stopped moving forward and stopped developing, even if you're still waking up and putting your feet on the ground. You probably going to the same places where you can predict what's going to happen. You can predict who's going to show up. You can predict what they're going to say. You can predict the experience. And you've been doing that so that you can dodge fear. But then, simultaneously, you're losing your sanity from not going after that picture on the inside of you that exists nowhere but within you, that you were called to build, that you were called to provide to the collective. The choice is yours. You can keep competing with these people. You can keep wasting your time, wasting your energy, wasting your existence. Or you can submit all of your illusions, all of your fears, and go after what I am has deposited on the inside of you that no one else can fulfill. I'm waiting to see it. Lock in. Love. Safety.